Today, I noticed something blowing up in Deltarune spaces on Twitter where there were just a lot of tweets and memes reacting to some wild event that apparently just happened, and from the bits and pieces I was hearing, it sounded pretty crazy. So, to quote my mutual Cerise, "Reading about the Deltarune cafe is insane, actually disastrous." Upon being asked for context, she elaborated. "There was a Deltarune fan cafe in Toronto. The venue was a building on a college campus and not an actual kitchen/restaurant. People got food poisoning and are hospitalized or had to go to urgent care. There were also issues with the merch, the lines, the pricing, etc. Food poisoning and at least one person in the hospital, issues with people being overcharged for items, hot and overcrowded venue, food wasn't even prepared in an actual kitchen." This is how I was introduced to the Deltarune Chapter 5 Toronto Fan Cafe. The Deltarune Fan Cafe was an event hosted by Sugar Packet, a group led by two university students, Zine and Esther. In May of this year, 2026, they hosted their very first fan event, being a digital circus meetup, which allegedly had problems of its own, but it wasn't disastrous enough to discourage the group from continuing to host another fun and niche fandom event. Thus, the Deltarune Chapter 5 themed Fan Cafe was Esther and Zane's second ever event hosted as Sugar Packet, and it was advertised as so. Deltarune Fan Cafe, Chapter 5 theme. Event details. When? August 9th, Sunday, 12 to 7 p.m. Where? OISE building. This is a place inside of the University of Toronto. What will be there? In the first room, there would be a free hangout area with an Undertale Deltarune themed artist alley, crafts, live gaming, and more that anyone could attend. This room was free. Anyone could go in, even if you didn't go into the actual cafe. In the second room, a $15 entry fee Deltarune Fan Cafe that would have Deltarune-themed food and a freebie with each item, volunteers serving the food in Deltarune character kimono cosplays, a photo area, and a free random charm of one of the 7 flowers. They described the second paid entry cafe room in further detail in the description of the Instagram post, stating that there would be over 40 artists selling their work on what Sugar Packet was calling an artist menu, which was going to be in the cafe room, not the artist alley, but that this cafe room would also have immersive interactions between guests and the cosplaying servers, a photo booth, which you will later see had a whole backdrop. It was actually pretty cool because it was provided by someone that was not Sugar Packet. And lastly, they list a raffle Girona. They also elaborate on the other free room, stating it would be a Deltarune-themed hangout spot for everyone. It would have a full artist alley where the artists would be able to set up their displays, their shops, the whole thing. That there would be a live playthrough of Deltarune Chapter 5, and supposedly they would have quote-unquote mysterious wins, though I highly doubt they got the man himself to attend, being bisected and all. Sugar Packet also shared this video of 4 Deltarune cosplayers teaching the viewer how to locate the venue from St. George Station. Very cute. They also hosted a Draw This in Your Style related to the event before the eventual date. So that does look pretty cool, looking at all of the people that submitted art to this event, and the winners that they chose. This is very great art, very exciting, makes people hyped for this event. So this was all how the event was advertised, and it sounds like a lot of fun just from that. And evidently, many Deltarune fans also agreed that it sounded fun, because dozens of people quickly reserved the specific times that they would be attending. So, come August 9th, what went wrong? Well, clearly a lot. At this point, I want to make it clear that I personally was not at this event. I did not attend it, nor did I even know about it until this news broke and became big. So, I'd also like to make some obvious but necessary disclaimers before diving into the meat of what allegedly happened there. First and foremost, do not harass or seek out anyone involved in this story. There was more than enough chaos happening right now, okay? Do not contribute to that. Don't seek anyone out. We don't need to go attacking anyone involved, okay? This is just some, crazy story. The purpose of this video is not to personally attack the organizers or put anyone on blast or make total fun of what is a generally just sucky situation. My goal is to document what happened in a more or less general but still clear way, to not only preserve this insane moment in fandom history, but also as a cautionary tale to anyone who hosts or wants to host a similar fan event. Because this was an irresponsible, underprepared, underqualified, in-over-its-head event that actually, allegedly, bodily harmed multiple people due to the organizers' negligence. All of the claims I'm about to discuss are legally alleged as of me writing this, nor are any of these claims coming from me as I was not there. I'll be going over personal accounts from people that were directly in attendance, summaries and lists of what they experienced, a handful of photos and videos documenting different aspects of this event, and a long collaborative Google Doc that extensively lists out every single grievance that attendees have graciously put together. This document is very comprehensive, going into many specific smaller details, and is probably the greatest resource right now for as much intricate information on what went wrong if you're really looking for that. It will be linked in the description, but I cannot go over every single little thing in that. But it is very helpful and really lays out just how wild this was. Finally, I am absolutely not the authority on this event, and while I tried my damnedest to gather as much information and context and credible proof as I could, please let me know in the comments if this video gets something incorrect or is missing something crucial. Because, unfortunately, a lot of what happened at this event does come down to word of mouth and personal experience, and I am simply gathering and presenting the consistent feedback and backlash that is being shared by many people who actually did attend it. So, of course, take everything here as alleged and do with this information what you will. Now, with that out of the way, we can start to really look at what went wrong. What happened here? Well, come August 9th, 2026, the Deltarune Chapter 5 Fan Cafe did happen, hosted by Zine and Esther of Sugar Packet at the University of Toronto. Hi, I have been sick and seeking medical attention since the cafe due to the gross negligence regarding the food, kitchen, and takoyaki. Super disappointed with the organizers for allowing this event to even happen after hearing they were warned about the food and legal issues. Horrible. Please consider quitting events for good instead of a 10-month break. Man, I just wanted to have a good time with my sister. We were the last people left in the cafe, still waiting for takoyaki, and now knowing it wasn't even prepared in a healthy or sanitary manner disgusts me and makes me extremely sad. This is embarrassingly sad. There were multiple minors at that event, including my sister, and the fact that you guys could have seriously gotten so many kids sick through negligent amounts of disorganization and preparation is horrible. I met some very kind people at the event, including part of the main servers, but I don't think that's really enough to make up for all of the people's time and money wasted on an ambitious event with extreme lack of effort and thought for the people attending. I think you guys spent more money and time on your cosplays than the event, and as a result, it made people and kids sick, pissing me off. Artists haven't been giving their wares or money back, and some have gone into debt. The organizers are ignoring the artists' requests for money and wares back, and they aren't including them in the refund form. It's really upsetting. Prior to event, people pre-ordered items to pick up at said event. No items? Overcrowding because the artist alley and hangout spot were in the same room. People waited over an hour in line just for the artist alley to be closed or overcrowded. The staff were allegedly unpaid for the hours they spent organizing the event. Food, such as blueberries and takoyaki, were stored in coolers. Ice ran low, so it was being shared between coolers and cross-contaminating the food. Ice eventually ran out, leaving food, such as takoyaki, out for hours. Reported cases of attendees in urgent care with food poisoning and fever. There was also no Dashcon ball pit. I was there. The takoyaki tasted kinda undercooked. Oh my god, look at the takoyaki! Oh. This is the quote-unquote kitchen BTW, with volunteers censored. Wow, that is just in a room. No fridge, nothing. That's just tables. Hey there, Deltarune Cafe attendee and food poisoning victim. Lots of stories to tell. I've heard and seen that some people found the food to be weird tasting while they were there. My food tasted fine, but unfortunately I got very sick from the takoyaki. Along with improper cooking and handling for takoyaki, there was a drink containing blueberries being sold, with the blueberries having been left out for way too long. No refrigerator for anything. Had to seek out urgent care today, thanks to the takoyaki. Who hired this guy? Do not eat the Deltarune Chapter 5 Fan Cafe takoyaki. Everyone, start running immediately. Don't eat the octopus! I was at the Deltarune Fan Cafe for the 12 o'clock noon reservation. From the start, the service for food was really slow. There were basically no decorations in the room, no tablecloths, no Deltarune-themed decor or anything. There was a photo booth setup sort of thing that was being organized by a separate person, not affiliated with Sugar Packet, and it was the best part of the cafe experience. Food and drink were being served on paper plates and red Solo cups. People were paying $7 for literally just Powerade, and some people were being overcharged for that. The actual cosplayer servers were lovely, but the whole thing was terribly disorganized. We got there around 3 for a 5 p.m. booking at the cafe, and immediately were told our booking would be pushed back until 6, so we waited in the artist alley line. It was set up in a way where there was a big display, and you were supposed to take pictures of what item you wanted, and the workers were supposed to find everything for you. This was obviously a horrible setup because there was no organization, so they would see a photo and have to dig through multiple boxes. This resulted in the same people being at the table purchasing things for hours, and the line not moving until about 5:40, where we were all told we wouldn't be able to get any merch unless we pre-ordered, which was not made clear to us at all before the event. Lots of people were upset, but it was almost our cafe time, so we just went to that line. We were bummed, but excited to see the thing we actually spent money on, that being the cafe, and it was cool to have waiters dressed as the characters until the food came out looking very disappointing. My friend got the fries, and I thought maybe there would be a cool Deltarune-themed plate or even, colored anything, but literally all the food was such a nothing burger. It was $7 for a handful of grocery-bought, unsalted fries with no condiments on a white paper plate. It was so sad and beige. I regret eating the takoyaki so much because I honestly did think it looked very sus. I just have never had it before, so I didn't have anything to compare it to. Me and my friend's order took so long that they came around telling us to leave because we had been sitting there past our booking time, but we hadn't gotten our food yet. We eventually did, but there was no sauce and we were all just so done and wanted to go. They said on the menu that each drink came with a sticker, but no one was receiving any, and we didn't want to pester them anymore, so we gave up. Just overall, a really, really bad experience. We got yelled at by the workers to stay on the wall when we were lining up. No one was really being helpful at all, and now I'm seeing everything come to light. It seems like they were just lying straight to people's faces. This photo here is the setup that we had to go through to take pictures of the merch we wanted. There was absolutely no security here, and majority of the line was lined up against it for hours, so theft was definitely a problem, and I think a few artists were upset that their art was not being protected at all. Me and my friends lined up for 2 hours to buy merch, only to be told they weren't selling any anymore. It was pretty rough. I was an attendee there. My slot was at 3 p.m., but all the cafe slots were pushed back 1 to 2 hours, so I didn't get in until around 4:15. Ordered the takoyaki, 2 drinks, and fries. I unfortunately became very ill from it. Still can't eat properly yet because of it. And the food came out really not good. My fries were burnt and were forgotten about until the last minute, where I had to tell them, hey, I ordered fries. I was then given them, and was kicked out because the next group needed to come in, and I was told to eat in the corridor. Lines for merch were too long, ranging from 4 to 5 hour wait times, and a lot of people never got to purchase anything and were told to leave because they couldn't control the line, the capacity, or have the line move anymore because it began to stall and not move at all. People who did stay behind and managed to snag something were unfortunately double charged or just overcharged. I was supposed to pay only $28 and was paying $47 instead, and apparently, because they were too busy, they couldn't assist me at that moment. Things became very crowded and overheated, people physically not looking well immediately. I genuinely feared for the volunteers. They looked extremely overworked, overstimulated, overwhelmed, and stressed the fuck out. Many of them I overheard allegedly didn't receive breaks and were forced to push through 10 plus hours with limited food and water. Same with the cooks there, no breaks. Got so bad to a point where an announcement needed to be yelled out because apparently one of the volunteers was getting harassed by an attendee, and all attendees were being threatened to be blacklisted for misbehavior and bullying. The volunteers look utterly spent and unwell. I had some of the maids approach me and others asking us how our time was, desperately trying to resolve things and keep everyone okay. Some were on the verge of tears, but it was really heartbreaking because they were trying so hard with what they had. The volunteers, are not at fault for this event, by the way. And keep good spirit, but Sugar Packet made it near impossible due to the lack of organization and planning. The Tenna show at the end also didn't go well. Multiple technical issues, buzzers and mics not working. We were told to make teams of 5, but not all teams were able to fit on the screen, so we were told we couldn't get points because they couldn't find us, and it took a few rounds before our answers counted. Certain games, sections not loading, lots of teams not being able to answer properly, and I spoke with many people afterwards who were unfortunately extremely frustrated and disappointed and disheartened because many of them traveled far to be there and either left sick or with nothing. I want to say the volunteers did absolutely everything in their power to make it as enjoyable as they could and work with what they had. They were the heart of the whole thing and what made the event a bit more bearable, but it was heartbreaking to see how attendees and volunteers were being treated. Lots of these people are being harassed right now when they didn't do anything but try and make these things enjoyable for us. The maids were so lovely and sweet, and they were all trying so hard for us, okay? The Sugar Packet team organizers flopped major. Many of us are still trying to recover from severe food poisoning, fight for refunds from being overcharged, and artists I'm hearing are allegedly panicking, trying to get their art and their products back. People needing refunds for pre-orders, not being able to be sent out. It was poorly organized, poorly hosted, and many people suffered from lack of handling. Guess who got food poisoned from the evil takoyaki? Also, here's 2 blueberry lemonades from that same order. So, that was a lot. Everything I just presented to you is only a fraction of the fallout of this event. There's no way I could have covered every single individual's account. This is just a handful of people that went to this event and had this experience. There are countless other first-hand accounts from attendees, volunteers, artists, etc. And I want to say, I feel so bad for the people who were food poisoned at this event. Please take care of yourself, and I really hope you all recover quickly. I would be so disgusted and angry. Like, what? Speaking of disgusted and angry, the backlash after this event was obviously very loud and for many good reasons. A day after the event, Sugar Packet put out their first of 3 statements regarding the Deltarune Fan Cafe onto their Instagram. The first announcement reads, "The Deltarune Cafe was a failure. It was a failure where some people had a good time with some amazing attendees and incredible volunteers, but it did fail. We'd be remiss if we were to deny that in any way. This announcement is here to explain how and why things failed, what changes we plan on making at Sugar Packet to keep failures like this from happening again, and all of the methods we have to redress everyone's complaints. To start, all tickets are freely available for refund. Any attendee who feels as though they did not get the experience they paid for, whether that was because of the last-minute pushing back of the reservations, for the missing menu items, or the service received, attendees can fill out the form below and enter their name, order number, as well as why they would like a refund. This final question is entirely optional, just so that we can gather more feedback. Refunds will be granted regardless of the reason." And here is the Google Doc link to the refund form. In the cafe, there was also a specific issue with the Fanta item, the pricing of which ended up being changed because of a change in what we were serving. This was not communicated to attendees or servers, leading to confusion and people paying more than what they expected. $7 refunds have already been sent to everyone who purchased Fanta using card. This was the most notable instance of other complaints about overcharges and double payments. If this ever happened to you, please fill out the form below with your order number, what you were charged too much for, and your e-transfer if you paid in cash. And here is another Google form link. As for the Artist Alley and Hangout Room, besides issues of overcrowding and poor crowd control, which is nothing to ignore, there were many issues with our pre-order system and the general purchasing experience. Our systems for merch ordering did not include organizing the Artist Alley booth in such a way where artists would be easily and quickly accessible, and this led to an already long line being painfully slow, as well as inaccuracies with orders and prices. For anyone who made any kind of purchase with which they had some sort of issue, please fill out the refund form above with your order number and a description of what was wrong with your order, both for pre-orders and for purchases made on the spot. As for pre-orders that were not picked up, we are offering compensatory free delivery for all outstanding pre-orders. Again, you can fill out the form linked above for that, and provide us with your shipping information in the associated optional section. All of this is just a fraction of the stuff that went wrong. There will be further announcements and frequently asked questions, responding to specific concerns and pieces of feedback. We are also putting up a formal complaints and feedback form. While we address everything, we want to put these forms out there so people have some method of redress. Refunds will start coming out tomorrow. If we ever do another fan event again, it won't be for some time, and not without more logistical planning and time beforehand. We can't ever do enough to undo all of the ways we failed as organizers for this event, but we'll do all we can. But no, that is with us the issues all came from. However volunteers may have behaved or whatever mistakes they might have made from time to time only comes back to us and how we informed, trained, and prepared them for the event. Without them and our incredible servers, this disaster would be 10 times more of one, and we are eternally grateful for them. This isn't the final word on this event and how we're going to make up for it after the fact, but it's the first real step we wanted to take. We hope it means something. And this first statement concludes with all Google form links are in the bio. So this is their Instagram account. These links are in the bio of their Instagram account. Not very long after this first statement was made, they followed it up with a second post reading, Deltarune Fan Cafe Announcement Update. A few updates on how we're addressing things. All tickets purchased on Eventbrite have been refunded. If you have any continuing issues with refunds, please fill out the form linked in our previous post so we can address your case individually. But they should have gone through for all attendees. Secondly, an update on pre-orders. While we initially had hoped to still ship out the outstanding pre-orders, the amount that they are yet to be done as well as the needs of the artists to have their remaining merch returned means we have no choice but to cancel and refund all pre-orders which were not fulfilled. This is a corner we were backed into by nothing but our own negligence, overconfidence, and disorganization, and we are deeply apologetic both to artists excited to make sales before the event and attendees excited for what they ordered. If you have gotten your pre-order but are still missing things from it, once again, please fill out the form. If you do not receive the refund for your pre-order within 2 weeks, once again, fill out the form. We apologize for any delays in refunds, however, we can only send out as many refunds as our e-transfer limits allow per day, and so we once again ask you to please be patient. We are also automatically refunding all orders of takoyaki which were made with card, although we cannot do automatic refunds for anyone who paid with Google, Apple Pay, or cash. This is another case where we ask people to please fill out the refund form. Thank you for your patience and feedback. One thing that has become very clear is that the way in which we approach and run Sugar Packet, the scale and complexity of our events, does not suit the way we organize them. To introspect and consider if we even still want to do this, and how we will change things if we decide to do so, Sugar Packet is officially going on hiatus for 10 months. We will keep the Discord server open so people who made friends here can continue talking to them, and will continue to respond and refund requests through the forum, but otherwise we are ceasing operations. Thank you for giving our 2 events their chances. We apologize for wasting them. If you're looking for another UTDR hangout opportunity, please check out at despiteeverything.toronto. They ran the photo booth in the cafe and have an exciting event in October that is sure to be much more organized and better than this one, not affiliated with Sugar Packet. So yeah, in this picture here, actually, you can see the backdrop of the photo booth that was at the Deltarune Fan Cafe. Got a cool little gaster here. I do actually like the backdrop, but that's because it was not made by Sugar Packet, so I guess that would explain why it's good. And finally, this post concludes with, I believe this is their mascot, so we got him floating in an ice cube at the end of this. He got snow graved because he feels so guilty. And finally, as of the time I'm writing and recording this, Sugar Packet released their third and latest statement, which regards the cases of food poisoning. So, let's read that. Deltarune Fan Cafe announcement regarding food poisoning. We have received multiple reports of foodborne illnesses after the event, in particular from the takoyaki. For a full explanation you might be able to give to your practitioner to narrow down the issue, here is how the takoyaki was stored. The takoyaki was stored in an ice box, a cooler, to thaw and then served afterwards. They had only left the freezer that morning for the first batch, and that afternoon around 4 p.m. for the second. Bags were removed from the cooler only when they were being made and swapped between shifts. The frozen takoyakis that were brought were already fully cooked before being frozen. Our research said that thawing them in a fridge and serving them within 24 hours afterwards was safe, but we apologize, that is not the standard you all were looking for. We will fully compensate any bills associated with any possible foodborne symptoms through the cafe refund form, which is linked in our bio. For anyone unaware on how to report food safety concerns and violations, it's through this Toronto Public Health form. You can also put your information into a form linked in our Discord service announcements to report as a group. We take full responsibility for whatever legal challenges might come our way, and deeply apologize that our negligence led to sickness. All links are in our bio, so that's a great addition at the bottom. After this third statement was made, the online attention that this event and situation would receive really started to explode. This, to my understanding, is what really made this whole thing known to the public. I mean, I found out about this whole event through people's reactions to this statement and, finding this rabbit hole through this third statement tonight. Well, I guess last night, by the time I'm recording this. I would consider this kind of a still developing situation, as there are people who are literally still dealing with the food poisoning right now, and there's apparently still some disputes happening regarding refunds and artist items. So yeah, I, however, do not have future vision, so I'm covering what's known as of right now, though I imagine it's thankfully probably not going to get as hectic as the event itself, thankfully. So, slight addendum as I was writing this part of the script. This is a message allegedly from Sugar Packet in their Discord server to the artists of the cafe. I can't confirm these screenshots because they are very cropped and I am not in this server. So please, as always, take this with a grain of salt. This was, just shown to me. The post, or the message reads, "At Deltarune Cafe Artist. The artist alley at the cafe event failed in multiple ways for the artist vending there, a service you all paid for. That's why, to start with, we are going to be reimbursing all tabling fees along with the payouts for all of the pre-orders and merch that was sold, which should be coming out across the next 2 weeks. You were all burned by how disorganized things were, which is why we are specifically making an artist feedback form. Here is where you can specifically list out what other costs you incurred, which you feel we should cover. Thank you for your patience with us and the trust you placed in us handling your business. Sorry that our missteps and rushed organization meant we let you down." An update on the Artist Alley situation. As mentioned in the main announcement, the need for artists to get their merch back and the number of pre-orders means we are afraid we have to cancel that portion of the alley. We'll be refunding all pre-orders that were not fulfilled, although we are keeping our promise that if a pre-order was fulfilled by missing an item, that refund will come from Sugar Packet and not the selling artist. To compensate for this and all other mistakes during the Artist Alley process as best we can, we are counting and compensating for all items individually without discounts. Artist payouts will not be made through the orders listed on Square, but instead by subtracting the current count for each item against the initial count. This should mean a generally increased payout for everything that did so. Also, a reminder to fill out the artist feedback form linked above for setting when you need your items shipped. We are doing our best to send everything out according to when people need them. If any artist is interested, we will also set up a pickup next week, details to be added. So, luckily, there is a bit of positivity that some people were able to take away from the experience, mostly being the fun of meeting other cosplayers and fans of the same game, the kind interactions had between people, and if you consider it a positive, the ability to say that you were part of Deltarune fandom history, for better or for worse. Hi, I'm in the middle of editing this video, and this part here is unscripted, and I'm very sleep deprived and tired, and I have no microphone set up, but there are just a few addendums that I want to add after this one that I think are important to include, so please excuse the mic quality for the next minute or so. The first point is that I've heard from some people that merch, like Artist Alley merchandise, was stolen, but I've also heard from a couple artists themselves that they did not get any of their merch stolen, and they don't know of any other artists that got their merch stolen. So this claim, I am very unsure. It seems that in the message that Sugar Packet sent to the artist that I just went over, they accounted for any missing items or like stolen items. They did account for that in that message. But yes, I can't prove if anything was actually stolen or not. I'm seeing contradicting accounts of that, but even if that did happen, that was addressed in the message that Sugar Packet sent to the artists. The second is a little bit smaller, but still I think it's very important to clarify. So yes, we know that the quote-unquote kitchen at this event was not being handled properly in any way or anything in it. That is undeniable, but apparently, allegedly, a few of the people working in the kitchen did have, like, food certifications, like, they knew what they were doing, but the kitchen itself at the event was unauthorized, allegedly, so there were a bunch of claims, people saying that nobody in the kitchen knew what they were doing, everyone was unqualified. Apparently, that is not entirely true. There are people who did know what they were doing, but the event itself did not have any approval to be selling food, especially like seafood. So that was that clarification. This was something that I wasn't even aware of when I wrote the script, but apparently the Deltarune Cafe also had like a zine that they were going to be handing out to people. I believe it included like a bunch of the artists that were selling there, of course. Apparently the quality of the zine was genuinely horrific, like extremely disappointing. Okay, horrific is a bit dramatic, but it was very disappointing. And as you can see through these pictures, oh my god, it looks like it's crumbling at the seams. I feel so bad. The print quality is so bad. It looks like it was thrown together by like a elementary school origami class. I feel really bad. Oh my gosh. I'm also going to be leaving a link to this document in the description of this video that has a list of a bunch of the artists that participated in the Deltarune Cafe that really did not deserve all of the carnage that was thrust upon them. So a lot of them definitely did get fucked over more than others. Very different experiences, but unpleasant nonetheless. So this is something you can go to if you want to personally support any of the artists that were there. And one last thing is that I want to make it very clear that, again, this is not an attack on the 2 individuals behind Sugar Packet. Please, we do not need people going and harassing them. They are very young university students, and I am by no means trying to defend what, they sort of facilitated here, but please understand these are human beings, and I'm sure they did not mean for this to happen. It is just a case of extremely gross negligence and ambition and just being completely in over your head and overestimating your abilities. And real people did get harmed. So it is just a terrible situation for everyone involved. And, I am not trying to attack the 2 individuals. Like, I really don't want to see anyone trying to find their, full names or their social medias or going and finding them, whatever. Screw these people. They did something bad, and I don't think they did it maliciously, and I'm sure they are very, very scared and feel very guilty. I'm not going to make any more assumptions beyond that, but I just don't want people going and attacking these 2 individuals. This was just a really bad situation. And related to that, it is also apparently known that the 2 individuals behind Sugar Packet were also, I believe, the head members of the University of Toronto's fanfiction clubs, or two clubs like that. And I since that claim that this is the fanfiction club that did this is going around, I also want to clarify that the fanfiction club at this university was not involved with this at all. From my understanding, the fanfiction club there, the club that these 2 people were involved in, had a whole bunch of people. It was a whole, it was a huge club. And the people responsible for this event were only, I believe, the 2 head members of that. But it was not done in affiliation with any clubs at the university. It was just something that these 2 did on the side, unrelated together. So it was not the fanfiction club's event. That was just a club that the 2 people behind this event happened to be in. So anyone else that was in the fanfiction club is not involved in the situation whatsoever. So those are all the additions that I want to make right now, and I'm going to send you back to the pre-recorded script. If you or someone you know is ever planning on hosting a fan event similar to the Deltarune Chapter 5 Fan Cafe, please, I urge you to be responsible and make sure you and your staff are adequately prepared, especially if you're going to be handling and serving food to strangers. Okay? Hold true to your word, be reasonable and flexible, have backup plans, and please don't store octopus in a cooler. The fallout of this event was so many completely preventable issues that could have been avoided with better management and literally any responsible decisions from Sugar Packet, but unfortunately, real people were physically harmed, allegedly, from the severe mishandling of consumables, the hot and humid overcrowding, and hell, if I was there, I would also just claim physical harm for the headache I would get from being so pissed off. Damn, I wonder if they had Star Walker in the fucking kitchen. Before this video ends, I just want to reiterate some of my disclaimers from earlier, okay? Please do not harass or seek out anyone involved in this story. The purpose of this video is simply to document what the hell even happened, and to do so before a lot of this information might get jumbled up or misremembered. So, I just wanted to document what the hell was going on as quickly as possible, because I know that crazy events like this can sort of, just explode and all the information goes everywhere. So, I knew that this was something quite extraordinarily wild, and I wanted to just make sure I had everything immediately in one place so we understand how this really was when it happened. This video is not an attack on Sugar Packet or the 2 individuals behind it. Please do not go out trying to find them or talk to them or harass them or bully them. Leave them alone. I sincerely hope that after their hiatus, they make a good decision about whether or not they'll come back, but only after the very necessary step of them understanding just how serious this fuck-up was. I'm so glad they decided to take a nearly year-long hiatus and not attempt another go at something like this anytime soon. At least until they're either genuinely improved enough, or they shut down the whole thing entirely, which either of those are okay? Please, everyone, try to make good decisions. Thank you so much for watching this video. I am so sorry to the people who were negatively affected by this event. I hope you get well soon and or are able to make light of how absurd everything was. Especially if you had a really terrible time. That is really just unfortunate, and that's a really unfortunate memory to have, so I hope that you're able to find something funny out of this, because this was just a mess, frankly. This was really just a big mess. As for myself, you can follow me on Twitter at NeoRules, rules spelled the Deltarune way. If you spell it wrong, you're not going to find me. Yeah, you can follow my Twitter, NeoRules, for my signature serving of good art and annoying tweets, but please be careful though, because you might get Neo poisoning, and I don't have a ball pit over there. I want to make more video essays like this in the future, so if you like this one, feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel here, because I also post art on this channel, but I also post more video essays, so if you like either of those, you'll like my channel. I also do have a ball pit on my YouTube channel. I will now thank my lovely Patreon supporters. Bye bye, thank you for watching.